there are opposing stars that are finding ways to create space on offense and that we don't really have an answer to. And I think that's something that this team's going to have to work on and realize, okay, when we play some worse teams this season that might have like one or two really good players, you think of teams like Rutgers and Illinois, you really got to think about maybe doubling some of those guys and really working on defending the opposing team's star. I think you go into a game like Wisconsin, you're like, yeah, Storr, Crowell, those are going to be the two main guys for this team on the offensive side of the ball, and we kind of let them score. We let that happen, especially in the second half. They almost scored 50 points, and the key was that we just kept scoring as well. There was no point in this game where this team, I'm talking about Penn State at this point, there's no point where Penn State struggled on offense. It was just consistent scoring the entire time. There's no scoring drought, which it feels like a lot of times either right at the beginning of the game or right after the first half or the second half starts, you'll have that scoring drought, and I'm not sure why, but
and that was, I think, the story then of honestly both the games this week was Penn State starting really fast on Tuesday, getting able to get in a rhythm, play their style of basketball, force Wisconsin to come from behind, and then Saturday it was the opposite. Right, Ohio State gets out of that 16-0 run, and
that felt like more typical Penn State basketball,
especially on the road. Yeah.
And then I love that you touched on it. Demetrius Lilly has come alive the last few games. In this Wisconsin game, Wahab had foul trouble early, and so Lilly played 18 minutes in this one. A lot of those were in that mid-second half when Wisconsin was making a run at a comeback. They were scoring, getting a lot of offensive rebounds. And Lilly ended that game with 6 rebounds and only 4 points. But the key is that he didn't foul a single time. And he forced Wisconsin to work really hard to score points. He slowed the game down with his ability to not foul and to keep the game going. In that sense, for the Penn State defense, slowing that down for them. So I want to give credit to Demetrius Lilly for that. I've also been complaining for many weeks for that Favor IRA's minutes are not higher yet. I think we can get into that more in the Ohio State game. But, yeah, last thing about this Wisconsin game, that was the best win that this team has had in many, many years. Coach Shrewsbury didn't lead a single team to a win that good. I don't think that Penn State basketball team under Mike Shrewsbury over the last 2-3 seasons that he was coaching, I don't think a single one of those teams had a win as good as this one, in the sense that they played that complete of a game. Now, those teams had some nice wins. You think of Pickett's 40-point performance against Illinois. You think about that almost beating Purdue in the Big Ten Championship. Maybe you don't include that one because it was lost, but you think of those wins in the Big Ten tournament run. You think about that Texas A&M win in the NCAA tournament last year. Those are some nice wins for that team. You think about that win in 2021 against Michigan State, when John Harrer went ballistic at the end of that game and ended up winning that one in regulation. That one was fantastic as well. But in general, I don't think Penn State has played a complete basketball game like they did against a top 11 team in the country like they did last Tuesday. And so credit to Mike Rhodes, and I think that shows the talent that this team has. I've been saying it all year. This team's record is worse than it was last year at this point in the season, but it's not because of a lack of talent. It's because of a lack of cohesion and a lack of understanding on this team, and you can see with wins like this, it's starting to come together.